Differentials rise like morning sun, chasing points, the game's begun. Big decisions week by week, fantasy glory's what we seek. Pick your squad, the clock won't wait. Captain choice will seal your fate. Two enthusiasts breaking it down. Fantasy kings, we're taking the crown.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Tinker Time, an FPL pod, the show for every fantasy Premier League manager who's already second-guessing their 12th draft. It's Thursday, November 20th, 2025, and whether you're finally locked into your Gameweek 12 draft or just here to scout some differentials, you've come to the right place. I'm Matt, alongside Jim, and we're here to help you tweak, test, and yes, tinker your way to the top of your mini leagues. We'll break down the best value picks, extra trends, and hidden gems, so you don't have to stare at your squad screen in despair. So let's pop the hood, crack open the spreadsheet, and get tinkering. Jim, we made it through the last international break until March. I am so excited to get back. I have to ask, how the hell are you?
I'm ready to be back. Thanksgiving's coming up. We got nothing but sports and food ahead of us for the next few months.
I don't want to get to it early because I'll probably ask you next week as well. But have you started to think about what you're thankful for this year?
It's always the same thing.
Save it.
I'll save it. We'll do it next week. Yeah.
Okay.
How about you? I know you
I
like
have
asking other
not-
people, but you're always.
I know. I'd love to ask people. I got to start thinking about it because there's a lot to be thankful for this year. It's been a pretty good year. Can't complain that much. But to our listeners, maybe drop some things that you're thankful for in the comments. It's a good time of year.
We'll rate how good they are.
Yeah. We'll let you know what
Whether
we
or not
think
you should actually
about-
be thankful.
Yeah, but no, in all seriousness, it's great to get back. We have made it through the last international break until March, I believe. So we'll be pretty much not even weekly deadlines. I think I saw something. It's like there's 11 deadlines in the next 45 days, which is phenomenal. That's be careful what you wish for, folks.
It's gonna be some more mega episodes sprinkled in there, I think.
Oh my goodness. It's exciting. It's exciting to be back. What do you think? Should we go through? I mean, it's obviously there's been a lot that's gone on this break. I mean, anything that has kind of stood out to you, anything that we want to hit on before we kind of get into the upcoming slate? What do you think?
I didn't really watch any of the. I didn't watch any of the games. I saw some of the highlights. Good for Scotland. What a way to seal it and put them through over that nice win over Denmark.
Yeah. I think the biggest thing for me really isn't necessarily, a highlight, but more of injury concerns. You see a lot of these players come out for injury reasons. My attention immediately goes to the Arsenal back line. I think the biggest injury coming out of this international break is none other than Gabriel. Looks like he's got a little bit of a groin issue, one of those adductor strains. I think latest reports, he's definitely going to be sidelined for the Derby, maybe upwards of, I want to say, latest report I saw was maybe a month or two. That is a huge blow for Arsenal.
As of today, FOTMOB has him in early December.
Oof. Okay. So yeah, maybe a month or so, roughly.
December's 10 days away, so.
Yeah, but that's, I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what happens. I mean, that's one of those injuries. Cole Palmer also had a groin injury. They haven't rushed him back yet either. Wouldn't be shocked if they kind of hold him back. You want him to be confident and healthy for the long haul. You don't want to rush him back. So that was really I think for me the biggest thing that stood out.
Not just him though. Calafiori he's flagged for physical discomfort. Kind of.
Is he still flagged? I could have swore I saw yesterday he was cleared. We'll have to check that.
Yeah. In Gyökeres, doubtful for the Derby as well.
Yeah. So yeah, spoiler: North London Derby
It'll be a good one.
It's coming. Yeah. So why don't we jump into the slate?
Zip through some of the games.
Yeah. So no Friday fixture this week. We're going back to our roots here, getting right into the old Saturday deadline, starting with a 7:30 fixture. We've got Burnley against Chelsea. What stands out to you on this one, Jimbo?
I think you were ahead of the curve getting Neto in. I think he might be maybe the midfielder to trust here. I know João Pedro was in a cold streak. I think he scored twice before international brace or 2 weeks in a row. So he's one for those that didn't sell him. Against Burnley should be a game that you should probably hold and see what you can get out of it. I mean, Chelsea on paper should win this one pretty easily, but then again, Burnley at home, they've scrapped some points here and there. Edward Cullen and crew. So I still think Chelsea targets you would ask that.
Chelsea asks that you would target.
I don't know if I would bring Pedro back in for this match, but if you didn't sell him, I think he's a good one to have.
Yeah. Yeah, I think this is one of those fixtures that it kind of kicks off the week. It kind of sets the tone, especially if you're one of those managers who has a Neto, like you mentioned. If you held on to João Pedro, it'd be a nice start to the week to have a couple of returns, hopefully avoid a couple of blanks. So
yeah. Always good to start Saturday with a couple goals, but
trying to avoid the blanks. All right, moving on. We've got quite a few fixtures in the 10 o'clock slot. I guess starting off with Bournemouth and West Ham. So I think the big one here, Semenyo had been taken off in his international game. I think there were reports that he was injured, but then it looked like there were some photos of him actually being proposing to his girlfriend. So I think that kind of calmed some of those fears that he wasn't actually taken off for injury. It was more for personal reasons. West Ham, they maybe seem to find a little bit of form as they get a little bit more acclimated to Nuno's system. Have been a little bit up and down,
they've been
more
quiet.
on the down lately. So yeah, what do you think here?
Yeah, I want to trust Bowen, but I just can't. They have Bournemouth this week, Liverpool next week, then United. So I think bringing in any West Ham asset, anybody apart from Bowen, I think is crazy. But even Bowen you must want a real differential if you're going to be bringing him in.
Can you call anyone from West Ham an asset, honestly?
I mean, Bowen is still what?
Other than Bowen?
He's still like the fifth highest. He's
Yeah.
the fifth highest forward.
Other than
so
Bowen, I guess. Yeah.
no, I can't imagine who you would even convince yourself to get in. But yeah, at the same time, Bournemouth haven't looked great. They've been in quite a slide, and I know really early on their defense wasn't keeping clean sheets, but what's his name there in the back? Senesi?
Senesi with the DEFCON.
Yeah, he was one that we were we were saying that defensive contributions, he's pretty consistent, but even that's been falling off. So another one I don't know if I would bring anybody in for this week. I definitely wouldn't bring anybody in for West Ham's upcoming fixture run. I think the question is really everybody who has Semenyo, whether or not you're going to hold out or not. As a non-Semenyo owner, I'm glad I don't have to make that decision.
Yeah, I think a lot of managers, they may have made, I don't want to call it a premature transfer, but when the news came out that Semenyo was injured potentially and he became flagged in FPL, a lot of managers may have made may have made a transfer. So big question here is it time to move off Semenyo? I think it's fair to say he's not going to be on penalties moving forward. If there was any sort of conversation of whether he should be taking them over with his miss in his last game, I think it might be time.
Back.
Evan Nilsson is back. Yeah, I think it might be time. The Semenyo magic might be running out. That being said, I mean he's still a nice player to own. I'm not saying that over the long haul, the rest of the season, we should give up on him. But I think if you've had him,
Cash in.
You could be comfortable at this point saying, "Hey, let me look elsewhere." All right, moving on. Right, in Brentford, we got the Gulls and the Bees, the Birds and the Bees, the Birds and the Bees. We're gonna talk Birds and the Bees. Oh boy.
Let's start with the Birds.
Can you tell me about the Birds and the Bees?
I'm kind of sick about Welbeck.
I want you to pretend that you're talking about the Birds and the Bees. Like, use this as a practice.
I'm not going to do that. I was pretty confident that Welbeck was going to fall off after he continued it a couple goals past where I said he was going to. So now I'm putting all the chips in. I'm going all in on him blanking again.
Boy.
Brentford have looked better. Thiago, I think, is somebody that you could realistically bring in and feel good about. So I would lean Brentford on this one. And, I think we said it last week, Thiago at the price point, especially with some other forwards not really contributing as consistently, he's worth taking a shot on.
Yeah.
Brighton haven't looked great defensively.
Yeah, this is going to be an interesting one. I'm with you. I think the two names that stand out, are absolutely Welbeck and Thiago. Thiago's been, really circulating as far as value forward on penalties. Been in pretty good form as of late. Minta is another name that's been kind of been thrown around. I know we've mentioned him on the last few episodes, just for his price and his what he's providing as far as score goes. This will be an interesting game. I want to see if Minta and Welbeck. I think if they bring a return, I think that kind of just emphasizes their case that maybe we should be taking a greater look at them. Thiago being on penalties, I think already makes his case that we should be looking at him as maybe that second or third forward option. But right now, I don't think Welbeck's in that conversation because he's not on penalties. But if he continues to score, then penalties aren't everything.
Yeah, and Thiago has 11 starts, 8 goals. That's pretty good.
Not that. That's 8 more goals than I have.
Yeah, and they have Burnley next week, so might be the time.
Might be the time.
Roll the dice.
Fingers snap in. Top the cook. All right. Moving on. Fulham and Sunderland. Oof.
A stinker of a match. I don't have anything to say either side.
Think Sunderland pull this one off.
Away game, it'll be tough, but we've been saying it all year. We haven't really been putting stock that they'll win, but they're still 5th in the table now.
Yeah, I don't have
No, they're
table
4th.
in front of me. They're 4th, right? Yeah.
Yeah, let's say based on that, they should win this.
This game's on Peacock for a reason. Not going to be aired nationally.
A lot of eyes on the next one, though.
A lot of eyes, you would think. Liverpool and Forest. We've obviously spent a lot of time talking about Liverpool, for better or for worse. Usually for worse. I think that, frankly, they've got to start to show what it is that their true identity is. Are they going to be? I mean, people have been talking about it. We've been talking about. They've got this phenomenal fixture run. If you look at the FDR, they've got this big streak of green fixtures, if you will, starting in Gameweek 12. We talked on last episode. Is it crazy to think that we're not going to bring in a single Liverpool asset, whether it be attacking or defender? I don't have plans to do it this week. I'm hoping that it's weird to root against that, but that's kind of where I'm sitting right now. I don't know. What do you think?
Spoiler, I have plans to bring in a Liverpool asset. I do.
Okay.
We can get to it later, but
we'll get to it.
I think you said it. The fixture run, Forest, West Ham, Sunderland. I mean,
it's undeniable.
It's hard to, they've looked bad. I think Slot's on the hot seat, but at the same time, they're not this bad. After that 3, they have Leeds, Brighton, Spurs, then Wolves, then Leeds again. If you're looking at all games you should score in through the end of the year.
If you're a Liverpool fan, does it just drive you nuts that while Wirtz was on international duty, I want to say he had 2 assists, 1 to Voltemade. How can he be so good in international duty and then he comes into the Prem and just it's clear that it's got to be a slot problem. It's just not utilizing him the right way.
Yeah, I don't know.
We're not experts. We're enthusiasts.
We're enthusiasts.
Maybe just we're not seeing something.
Yeah, I don't know. Part of me still thinks it's Salah, that he's too accustomed to doing his own thing on the right, making those runs, but he's playing with a totally different team now, and he has not really incorporated well with them. I'm not putting it all on Salah, but it's almost like he's still doing his thing and it's not working. So you could swap whoever else you're going to start with him, but at some point he's got to change to fit the new system, or it's just going to continue to look like this because you can't, a quarter of your attacking threat is taking up one side of the field. And
conspiracy. I'm gonna start a conspiracy theory. Do you think that Mo is potentially saving his best for AFCON so that he can bring glory to his homeland?
I don't think it works like that. I don't think he's saving his goals.
Well, he's
not investing them, and he's gonna.
He did well, no, but you know what I mean. He doesn't want to over extend himself. He doesn't want to risk getting injured, pulling a hammy or anything like that. I don't know. I mean, it's possible. Well, I don't know. I love a good. What about on the Forest side? I mean, we haven't. To be fair, we love our Shawnee boy. I don't think any Forest players have really come back into the conversation whether it be on the defensive or the offensive side just yet.
Agree. And I just feel like they haven't really been consistent with the lineup enough, right? Like even Gibbs White, I don't think started every game. I'm looking
Yeah,
back. Maybe he did. He scored
I
against
don't
Leeds. He
have
scored
their
against United.
yeah. I mean,
But
on paper, this is a game Liverpool ideally should win 2 or 3-0 if they're firing on all
the home
cylinders.
too, definitely.
Right, right. So I wouldn't look to bring anyone in from Forest for this fixture. Yeah,
Yeah. But looking forward, I mean, they do have an okay run coming up. So if you're looking to get a differential after this, they have Brighton, Wolves, Everton.
Wolves, man. Target those Wolves fixtures.
Bring them in.
Speaking of Wolves fixtures, so rounding out the 10 o'clock fixtures on Saturday, Wolves are hosting Palace, Crystal Palace. So
It's a tasty one.
Mark Gahey, I believe, is still in a walking boot. I don't think he's going to be playing. Tough draw for Crystal Palace, but they will bend, not break, I believe. I think Crystal Palace will handle Wolves comfortably.
Yeah.
Mateta, I think, scored 2 goals for France on international duty here. Could be wrong on there, though. Check me on that. Yeah, I mean, I think I have no reason to think Wolves will do anything. I mean, I think you shared an image of basically like Premier League clubs. It was like a quadrant of attack and defense, and basically like weak attack, weak defense. And Wolves were just like standout one of one. In a league of their own, the worst defense
So
and
bad.
worst attack.
So bad.
So bad. So this could be one of those games where if you were loading up on Palace defenders, I think you could reasonably, I don't want to say bank on, but it's probably a pretty good gamble for a clean sheet. And if you've got, Mateta or you got Sar, Munoz, you can probably I don't want to say confidently, but it'd be a pretty good wager to say you'll get an attacking return.
Yeah. Ted had 1 goal.
Okay.
Scored against Azerbaijan. But yeah, I think I said last week I've been looking at Sar to replace Kudus, and this might be when I bring him in. They still have a nice run ahead of them. All right, big match on Saturday. Newcastle hosting City. This will be a good one. I think it'll be a good test for both sides. Newcastle has shown spurts of looking great, but then they kind of fall back into their old ways. And City, they've started to get some midfield help to support Holland with the goal contributions. Will that continue, and who will step up to be more consistent? I want to say Doku. I think we had this argument last week. Doku is probably less minutes but more returns, and Cherky we think is probably Cherky and Foden are getting more minutes but have not contributed as much. Kind of pick your poison there, who you want to bring in. But Voltamade is still looking good. I think he scored an international break, like you
He
said.
did. Is Ait Nori back for this one?
Aitnori is no longer flagged, I believe.
Okay. So, it might not necessarily be nailed for the start. Maybe he'll get, sub minutes, but
Yeah.
interesting.
And I think Rodri's no longer injured. I don't know if he's going to start. So
Yeah, this should be a good one. I mean, City's got that strong attack. Newcastle have had a pretty strong defense. Matchup wise, something's got to give. Holland over the international break, again, I don't even know how many goals he scored, but I think Norway's goal differential right now in qualifiers is like plus 29. Like it's an insane number or something like that. And like spoiler, Holland's got like 95% of those. If not, I might be under on that number.
they beat Italy 4-1.
Yeah,
That's wild.
Italy. Oh, we're not gonna talk about the motherland, but yeah, I mean this one's good. This one should be fun.
The goal differential is plus 32.
32.
To be fair, they're in a group with Italy, Israel, Estonia, and Moldova.
Side note: I saw an image. The internet's wild these days. It was a World Cup qualifier, and the countries were Israel, Palestine, Ukraine, and Russia. All right, moving on. So Sunday, the 9 o'clock fixture is Leeds hosting Villa. So, Villa have been in phenomenal form. They had a tough start to the season. But I think if you were waiting to bring in Villa assets, I think you can pretty comfortably say, this might be the time to maybe pull that trigger. The only exception to that, I think, being Ollie Watkins, who still hasn't really found his form yet. I mean, I can't imagine this would be an uncomfortable win for Villa, but I think Villa take this one home. What do you think?
I agree. Leeds just have not been consistent enough. I think we both have Roden still just as our cheap asset. He's had a couple goals, but they just have not offensively clicked. Let me ask you this: I have somebody in mind, but who would you bring in on the Villa attack?
Not Matty Cash, because he's a defender, obviously.
Very good, very good. I didn't trick
Who
you.
would I? Who would I? I'm not gonna say. I'm not gonna say Malin. 'Cause I feel like that's a trap.
Oh, you're voting wrong. He scored over the break too, didn't he?
He did. He did. Who would I bring in on the Villa attack? I mean, I guess Morgan Rogers would be a name that I would throw out there.
I was gonna say Emilio Buendia.
Emmy boy, the number 10.
So he's been more consistent, but you hear his name and you're like, well, I wouldn't bring him in for FPL, but I think he's probably the safest Villa attacker at the moment. He's 4 goals, 3 assists so far this year.
Is he nailed too?
Sorry, 3 goals, 2 assists.
Okay.
He's started 9 games or played 9 games. Another goal in the Europa Leagues.
Okay. I could definitely see him being overlooked in that squad with the names that they have and the players that, historically, even just looking back to last season, uh, the hauls that they brought in, he definitely is overlooked.
Yeah,
That could be a good differential, Jimbo. You could be
I don't know.
revealing something there.
I don't know. It kind of goes back to my whole thing for this season, though. It's like there's so many good, cheaper options because the expensive players aren't performing. So it's like,
Yeah.
how many Emilio Buendias are you going to bring into your squad? Before you look at it, you're like, well, what the hell?
Well, the answer to that is one, because there was only one Emi Bundia. But
That's
I
true.
understand your question. All of these fixtures are leading up to the first North London derby of the season. The Gooners hosting our beloved Spurs at 11:30 Eastern. Prediction, go.
Arsenal win. I hate to say it, but I don't know. I'm just not loving our attack at the moment. Kudus is out. Simmons really hasn't returned. We really need Kulishevsky back, even though it sounds crazy thinking about how much we would need him at the moment.
Hmm.
You know, I don't know. I think defensively, I'm confident that we'll be the same as we've been, but I just don't know how we're gonna get goals in, and then even that, Arsenal's gonna score off a corner. Let's be honest. We never
Yep.
defend corners well.
Yeah. Yeah, I think best case we look for like a 1-1 draw. Positionally, I mean, or at least in terms of thirds, even with the Gyökeres injury, I would give, the attacking third to Arsenal. I would give the midfield to Arsenal. I think with the injuries to Gabriel, I think I would still have to give it to Arsenal and Raya versus Vicario. I mean, I think Raya's probably going to edge that out. So I mean, on paper, I think Arsenal absolutely have the better squad, but anything can happen in these derbies. You never know. I mean, there's reports of Koulibaly maybe being able to play with a mask on. And, my X timeline feed has been full of just videos of a certain former Spurs forward who wore a mask one time in a derby and had an absolute thriller of a goal.
I think I remember that goal.
Yeah, it was a nice goal. So, am I saying Koulibaly is gonna do something like that? Definitely not. But
Definitely not.
definitely not. But, you never know. You never know. Maybe Van de Ven will give us another one of his specials. Who knows? But I'm excited for this one. We still have hope. It's early in the season.
Yeah,
So,
yeah. I think it'll be a close match either way, but I think Arsenal probably edge us out.
yeah.
Koulibaly lining up for a PSG return on Wednesday as well. We'll see.
Keep an eye on that too.
All right, there was one
And,
last game on Monday. United
yep.
hosting Everton. Kind of the opposite ends of the spectrum here. United's looked great. Everton they had that hot start with Jack showing up on fire, but ever since he had to get benched versus City, Everton really haven't had that same magic to him. I think I saw, as a Sheshko owner, he is not going to be out for months as they originally were thinking. I think it's going to be like in December. He'll be back sometime, but still, I'm gonna have to move him out. Yeah, I was planning on playing him, so tough for anybody who brought him in after they got that offense starting to click. But seems to be my season so far.
Yeah, I think this is kind of similar to. I almost look at this as like very similar to the Newcastle City matchup, where United's attack has kind of been their calling card this season. Everton's defense has been kind of their calling card this season. So one of those have to give. Which one will bend? We'll have to see. I tend to think that United have the leg up here, the upper hand.
Definitely.
I feel like Bomo's been in great form. Cunha's been a player who I think he's starting to kind of come into form with the Šeško injury. Does he play a little bit more centrally up top? We'll have to see if he kind of slots in more as a center forward. I don't know what Amram's plans are for him, but maybe he gets a little bit of a boost or a benefit from that. I don't know.
Maybe
But
you roll the dice on Mason Mount.
Ooh, that's quite the punt for 1 week. But yeah, and that would round out the game week. So yeah, that's game week 12.
Couple good ones there.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, so I know we keep talking Con, it keeps kind of coming up. So, I don't know. I don't really want to get too deep into, the specifics and whatnot, but basically, like you said, AFCON, it's going to start basically impacting us in game week 16. Calendar wise, that's December 13th. So if you're tracking it by, what is game week 16? You're talking December 13th. So that's roughly, 20 or so days from now. So you've got some time still. Only 4 game weeks away, though.
And I believe, is the field finalized now?
Well, that's a great question. I don't know.
Because I believe I saw that Brandon Buemo is not going to be going. Cameron did not qualify.
That was for the World Cup, I thought.
Oh, was it?
Well, I know that all of the countries in AFCON, all the countries in Africa, those are decided. They know all the countries that are in Africa still.
Maybe I misread then.
Yeah, all the maps are drawn. I know that they have that, but the ones that are playing, I don't know. I would think at this point they know which countries are playing because it's only 2 weeks away.
Yeah, they got all the groups. I was wrong.
It's okay. But it's a fair question. There's a lot of national tournaments going on, kind of, simultaneously. It is confusing. It's a lot to handle. It's a lot to manage. Sometimes you just got to take a step back and have a little snack. Something maybe a little crunchy, something maybe a little, not necessarily sweet, but maybe something a little salty.
I'm a big salty guy. I love it. And, this episode is actually brought to you by pretzels. Crunchy, salty, twisted little snack that goes perfectly with a drink, a movie, or a nervous breakdown on the set of a Woody Allen film. Whether you like them hard or soft, salted, or dipped in mustard, one thing's for sure, these pretzels are making me thirsty. Pretzels are the snack that demands attention. You don't just eat a pretzel, you commit to it. You crunch, you chew, you take a sip of something immediately afterward because your mouth instantly becomes the Sahara Desert. It's tradition, it's ritual, it's pretzels. Grab a bag today at thirstypretzels.com and use code TINKER for 10% off your first order. thirstypretzels.com, code TINKER. Pretzels, the snack that launched 1,000 line readings. Back to the pun.
I think it's more, these pretzels are making me thirsty.
Pretzels are making me thirsty.
All right. So captaincy picks this week. We're gonna start something new. I think we had a cool idea that I think we're gonna try to pick up here. So shout out SPL Black Lab who had the idea. I'll give him the credit. So rather than just us suggesting captaincy picks week in and week out, we think it would be a cool idea for us to basically do a captain's draft. So every week, you and I will basically pick a captain, and we will keep track of that captain's points total. And we will basically we'll keep track of the point total for the rest of the season. So we'll see who basically is able to accumulate more points. So you would be able to pick a player and I would not be able to pick that same player. And every other week, we'll alternate so that we can get first pick or second pick. So because it is the first week and I am in the Thanksgiving mood, I will give you the chance to make the first pick in our captain's draft.
And because I am thankful, I will take Jean-Philippe Mateta versus Wolves.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. I'll do
you want
that.
to lock in those lyrics?
I'll lock in those lyrics.
I guess we maybe should have discussed this. Do we want to put any ground rules in around frequency of selections?
No.
So, like an example, do you want to be able to choose the same person 2 weeks in a row, or do you care?
Don't care.
Okay.
You know
Perfect.
me. I'm a
Mateta's your
differential man. I'm a
You are
differential guy.
Diffie. You are a good Diffie. All right, I'll give you Mateta. I mean, honestly, that is a great fixture to target. Mateta's in great form. I love that. I love that for you. I think that's phenomenal. Man,
And you?
I'm honestly I'm struggling with this one. There's the old, Holland set it, forget it. If I look at my squad right now, I'm gonna take a quick look right now
It doesn't
who
have
I've
any
got in
player you
here.
have.
I guess not, but
Keep it
yeah,
interesting.
I guess we can keep it interesting. Well, okay, if that's the case, then let's keep it very interesting. I'm gonna go the Egyptian king. I'm gonna go Mo Salah.
Boring. No, it's a good
It's
pick. It's a
gotta
good,
give it some point.
good. I'm happy for you. Good pick.
So let's lock these lyrics in.
Anybody else you were considering?
To be honest, not really. The fixtures this week, I mean, I really don't like to pick the early fixture. I think I wouldn't touch João Pedro. He hasn't felt captainable. I don't think I would captain Pedro Neto. Nobody from Brighton or Brentford, no one from Bournemouth, West Ham. Fulham has nobody on the team that I would ever captain. You already grabbed the Wolves fixture, so that's good enough there. Holland will probably get his goal,
Yeah.
but that's boring. Villa, I don't feel good about captaining anyone there. Nobody from Arsenal
This is
or United.
you're just going through every game again.
I know. I'm giving like one more assessment to myself of like, do I really feel good about it? I don't really feel good about it, but I don't feel bad enough about it.
Yeah.
So, um, should we pick vices just in case they don't play, or we just take the risk? If they don't play, it's a blank.
The blank.
Love it. Love it. Love it. All right. So yeah, we'll keep track of this. This will be fun. And should we put a gentleman's wager? Let's say at the end of maybe game week 20. We'll call that like the first half.
19
Winner
maybe?
has to 19. I'll call it at the end of the first half. What's the wager?
What about just like $10,000?
10 grand? I could do that.
Okay.
10 grand, or I'll buy you a sandwich, like lunch. How about that?
$1,000 or a sandwich. All right, that's fair. Let's lock in those
All right,
figures.
cool. All right. You heard it here, folks. Let us know what kind of sandwich we should get each other. Um, okay. All right. So moving on to differentials. So some interesting differentials. Still the same qualifications as always. So under 10% ownership. At the time of pulling these were the ownership numbers that we had. Leading off, our goalkeepers, we have the one and only Allison at 5.4 million,
Is he back?
owned by 5.4%. I believe he is unflagged. Can we confirm that?
Still flagged.
Still flagged. What's his date he's supposed to be back?
75% chance.
That's a pretty good chance for a keeper.
Let's go to FOTMob. Yeah, but he's been out for months. FOTMobs just says doubtful.
But not saying December.
All right.
So it's a risky pick because it's not. He still obviously has the flag. There's still time for it to clear up. I mean, maybe pay attention to the presser tomorrow. But
I think it's more of a risky pick because Liverpool's defense kind of stinks.
well, I guess the argument there, right? I mean, he's going to be nailed when he is healthy. At 5.4 mil, he is, I would say, the cheapest way into Liverpool defense. I believe that's definitely cheaper than Van Dijk. I think Kanate is at 5.5 right now, so he's cheaper there. And I just don't think you'd want Kirkez or Frimpong or Andy Robertson or Connor Bradley.
So if you don't want any of the defenders, why would you want the keeper?
Well, but I guess I'm just saying, if you wanted to get into their defense, if you feel that Allison makes their defense desirable, he is probably the next cheapest way in, is what I'm getting at.
Yeah, okay.
Owned by 5.4%.
Can I ask you a question here?
Yeah.
These are ChatGPT differentials, and you're trying to justify why they have Allison here?
I didn't pull these from ChatGPT. These are, I usually scour the internet for
You scoured it yourself.
I scoured it. I usually spend like a good half hour. I have my sources of what people are looking at. This was, I swear to God, not that we're a religious pod. I could go to Allah or whatever that people are worshiping these days. This was actually, a lot of people were saying Allison is someone I would target this week. So maybe they know something that we don't know about his health.
All right.
Maybe they're buying the fact that he's at 5.4, not 5.5. Maybe they're expecting a price rise. I don't know. Yeah.
Right.
That fixture run, to your point, it's hard to avoid.
Yeah, but yeah, Yeah, if you're expecting the defense to turn around even faster than the offense, yeah, I guess.
Remind me, how many goals have Liverpool scored this season? Can we just look into that very quickly? Like if we go to their goal differential this season, where does their goal scoring rank amongst the rest of
They've
the
scored
league?
18 goals. They've let in 17.
Okay. But 18 goals relative to like where does that rank in terms of goals scored in the league? Top 5 now?
Arsenal have 20, City have 23, Chelsea have 21, Tottenham have 19, United have 19, Liverpool have 18. So
Okay.
6.
Okay. So maybe top third of the league, roughly. If Liverpool clean up their defense, then they're scoring enough to be good, I guess.
Yeah, I guess that's what I'm saying is their defense is worse than their offense, and we've been saying their offense needs to click.
Yeah.
They've let in
Yeah.
17. That's more than some bad teams.
Yeah. Yeah. But we'll see. Next name on the list, and I know we've mentioned him before, his ownership is rising. So it's not really a secret so much. Dean Henderson, still 5 mil, keeper at Palace, owned by 7.8%. Great fixture this week. Phenomenal fixture
Yep.
against Wolves. Petrovic, 4.5 mil, keeper at Bournemouth, playing West Ham. Like you said, it's really Bowen, their attacks. Feels like Thomas Suchek always gets a goal. I don't know why. Lucas Paqueta, attacking threat, but when Bournemouth's defense has been good, Petrovic has been a great value pick. So that 4.5 price is really attractive.
Agree.
Moving on to defenders, someone I just mentioned, Kanate, priced at 5.4 mil, only owned by 2.8% of managers. So kind of the same argument. To your point, though, if you could choose between Allison and Kanate, you probably would go Kanate. I guess now I'm to kind of contradict myself because at least you have some sort of goal threat, right? I mean, I guess he can get involved in a
Defensive
set piece.
contribution.
Yeah, yeah. Um, I guess if you had to pick between the two, I think you would go Kanate. But like I don't know why. I don't personally like Kanate.
Because he's French.
Moving on to the next guy, Christian Mascara. Now be careful with this one, folks, because there is a Mascara, I believe, on Wolves with the same spelling of the last name. It's been kind of a running joke going on the internet. Folks saying, I'm bringing in Mascara. He's really cheap, and it's great. It's not the same player. They have the same last name, but be very careful. Mascara owned by 0.2% of managers. So this, I think, is basically a move because Gabriel will be injured. I don't know exactly if he will slot in. I don't know if Hincape will potentially take those minutes from Gabriel, but somebody has to take those minutes,
Mm.
right? So, in theory, someone should benefit. And Arsenal's defense, I think, is good enough to, pick up the slack from Gabriel's absence. But we'll have to see. I don't know. What do you think about that one?
That's a tough one for me, just because you don't know. It's not a certainty that he's going to start.
Right, right.
Get the minutes. I think it would be better to use that Arsenal slot for Raya or even Rice if you could swing it.
Decky.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
But
Tough to say.
I mean, if he gets the start and we know he's going to get a nice little run here, use him up until the AFCON transfers, maybe. Well, I don't hate that, but
Yeah.
yeah, it's just I think we need to be confident that he will start.
Can't get much better than 0.2% ownership, though.
That's low. I love that.
That's very low.
But at the same time, everybody has Arsenal defenders, so it's really like
That's true. That's true. Unless they're not starting their
if
Arsenal
somebody
defender because they had Gabriel.
has Timber and you have Mascara, you're not really getting a differential there. You're just getting a clean sheet as well.
Right. Right. Yeah. I imagine that would only. Yeah. Yeah. I won't dive deeper on that. The last name on the list is our good friend Nico O'Reilly. O'Reilly's Auto Parts. 5 mil defender over at City, owned by only 2.3%. We talked about him on the last episode, who you'd rather have, O'Reilly or Doku. It's really just a question of minutes. I think when he plays, he seems to have an impact on the game. This is one of those games. Do I feel like Newcastle, from a clean sheet perspective, I don't know if Newcastle, I don't necessarily feel like Newcastle's attacking threat has been there all season, but sorry, let me put this differently. I don't know if City's defensive prowess has been there all season. I think you're really bringing in O'Reilly because you feel like he's going to impact the game from an attacking threat. But I think his minutes are in question with Mateus Nunes being healthy. If Nori is back, then I don't see a path for O'Reilly to really be playing.
Let's
Kuzanov,
Kuzanov. So they're gonna have some competition back there.
yeah, yep,
2.3%. It's hard to. That looks good though.
yeah, yeah. And I mean, he has been playing, so I guess you could make the argument like it's his spot to lose until those players come back with certainty. So,
Yeah.
yeah. Moving on to the midfield. So another name we've been mentioning for a while now, Minta, 6 mil, owned by 4%. I know you're not sold on him, but his numbers, honestly, I think if you took the name away from his numbers and what his production has been, I think you could be sold on him. Playing in Brentford this week. Like I said, I think if he has another return this week, he really could get himself into that conversation of, for his price, being in that, I don't want to say essential, but really someone at that price point that is really going to be hard to be overlooked.
1 goal, 3 assists.
Yeah, but at 6 mil, who else at 6 mil are you looking at? I know your point. Your point all season has been money's not an issue.
Would you rather have Minta or Caicedo or Rice or Enzo? Well, I guess Enzo's 5, but
See, here's my conundrum. I I wouldn't really rather have Caicedo or Rice because in my mind they really shouldn't be FPL assets. This season they are so far. The question is, will they continue to be? I don't know. If they continue to be, then yeah, they're cheaper. They're not, they're at right. Caicedo is 5'7", right? And Rice is 5'6".
Caicedo 6'1".
6'1". Rice is
6'9".
6'9".
Yeah, he's owed by 21% now.
Declan Rice is 6'9".
Yeah.
When did
He
that
started
happen?
6'5".
Who am I thinking of that was 5'7"? I must be thinking of someone else. But well, then I guess at that point, yeah, I mean, if you can't afford both of them, then Minta is someone you could afford to bring in. I guess that, yeah. To your point, money's not an issue.
Yeah, I hear what you're saying. If you trust Welbeck and you think that Gomez could keep it up or whatever, and they're going to start scoring goals, yeah, Minta's price point is really nice.
Yeah. Next name on this list, I mentioned him a little bit earlier in the episode. Cunha over at United, priced at 7.9 mil, only owned by 4.4%. He's got the talent. He's in the right system. It's got to start clicking for him eventually. Is this the game week where it starts to happen?
I could see it. I think he'd be a good pickup. Everton, Everton are going to be fine. They're going to be middle of the pack. They're going to be through this year. But, there are going to be games where they're huge in the back and Tarkowski gets all those defensive contributions. But I would always also bank on a couple goals against them. So I agree. Cunha is a good pickup here. I even think Mbeumo would be a good captain pick. We mentioned it before. But, yeah, I could see goals here. We'll see how they line up without Šeško.
We'll have to see. And last one here, Dominic Szoboszlai, 6.6 mil, only owned by 5.3%. I think you said on the last episode, like Liverpool midfield, those would be kind of the players to target. We've seen him line up in, I think, right back this season. We've seen him play more forward. We've seen him have some free kick goals this season. He seems to be actually one of the few players that has been quote unquote thriving under Slot. So yeah, someone to keep an eye out for.
Yeah, I'm just pulling up his stats here. I guess he only has 1 goal, 1 assist. That can't be right.
Yeah.
Has he been scoring
That's it.
Must be Champions League he scored those goals?
Might be. Yeah, I don't have it in front of me. But.
Yeah, one goal, 3 assists in Champions League, and another one in the Community Shield. So. But
gotcha.
I think the point still stands. I think he's been the most consistent.
Yeah, out of him, McAllister, Gravenberch. Yeah.
Don't mind that end of their run.
Yeah, I know that run. Try to find a pocket where you can target it. I'm going to give you 3 forwards: Welbeck, Wilkins, Jimenez, Raul. 6.5 mil, 8.5 mil, and 6.2 mil, respectively. Welbeck creeping up there, 9.2% ownage. Watkins owned by 6.5%, and Jimenez only owned by 0.9%. So Jimenez is like that pure differential. No one's looking at him. Watkins is that, kind of higher priced, but really no one's looking at him either because he really hasn't been in form. You're kind of banking on him finding that form. And Welbeck's been that, in form, but, kind of pushing that upper limit of differential, but still really well priced. So I don't know. I mean, you've kind of got your your three options there to choose from, kind of three different scenarios. Thoughts?
I think I already mentioned my thoughts on Welbeck. I put all my chips in. Watkins, I haven't given up on Watkins. I mean,
Okay.
I was the one that brought him in after he blanked for, I don't know, was that like 5 weeks he blanked, and then I brought him in because I was
Yeah,
certain that his blanking wouldn't continue, but then it did. So, uh,
shooting blanks.
I don't know. I think out of those 3, I think he's obviously the one that you would think would turn it around the fastest. Villa have looked better, and the goals are there. He just hasn't been on them. So we have to think it's only a matter of time. Jimenez, I would stay away from. I don't know. I just don't trust Phone as much as I distrust Welbeck. I think I just trust Jimenez even more.
Yeah, that's a pure differential if you're looking for one.
Yeah.
All right, no mailbox this week. Kind of a sad week, but send it in, guys and gals. If you got questions,
Good save.
mailbox, we love
Good
it.
save.
Great save. Guys, gals, and they. So real quick, we'll take a look at some quick price changes, and then we'll get into our selections for this game week. So taking a real quick look, we've got a few price rises. Actually, believe it or not, your favorite player, Minta, on track to rise tonight. Believe it or not. Yeah, definitely on track to rise by the time this episode drops. Brian Cherokee.
6-1 for Minta.
Yeah, I know. Sorry. Uh, Ryan Cherokee on track to rise. I think it's just Minta who's going to be on track to rise before the deadline. Bunch of players: Ryan Cherokee, Edward Cullen, Josh King, Chris Richards, Petrovic, Tiago, all players that'll probably be on track to rise post deadline at this rate. But there's a chance if they pick up, they could. And then looking at price drops of Gabriel, Brennan Johnson, Matt Sells, they are all on track to drop tonight. Tijani Reindeers, Bernardo Silva, they are also on track to drop tomorrow. So a couple drops as well. The Gabriel one, I think we all could have seen coming. Oh yeah, and then Mudryk is also going to drop tonight. So
How is he still dropping?
people are crazy. Like I don't know what people are doing. So yeah, so the more you know. All right, we'll try to get through this. We're almost at the end here. Why don't we go through our picks for the week? You want to go first?
Yeah, sure. So I'm not fully decided. I am going to be moving out Sheshko, like I said, and I'm going to be bringing in Alexander Isak, and I have not decided who I'm going to bring in for Kudus.
Okay.
So Isak's coming
Okay.
in. I'll still have 0.7 in the bank to move on from Kudus.
Can you give us a little hint, a little tease of maybe what you're thinking of?
I think Sar.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Letter 2, my friend.
I think probably Sar.
I like that.
Yeah, I don't know. He's kind of the only one that I would really like Bruno or Cunha.
Bruno Tognoli.
6.
Dancing the cha-cha.
But that's about as much. Yeah, I can't get up to him. I'll have 7.2 in the
Goodman.
bank.
Yeah. Well, you
could
got some time still. Make sure you don't forget.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's a PSA to all of our listeners. Make sure you use all of your transfers before game week 16. You want to make sure you exhaust your transfer budget. Do not go into 16 because you're not going to get, they're just going to fill you up to 5. So if you have 3 going into that, you're not going to get 5 new ones. You're just going to get 2 more. So use all of your transfers so you get the full 5 once you get to that AFCON bonus. Okay?
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah, go ahead.
Would it be crazy to bring in
No, I don't think it would.
Yeah.
I don't think it would. I don't think it would at all.
Cool. Yeah. It was those two. It was mostly Sar. Then Soboslai would be number 2, and then I think Doku would be 3. But
Okay.
we'll see.
You got so much money. You got no problem. Money bags. All right.
All right, how about you?
I'll go through. So I actually already made my transfers. I was one of those managers when I saw the Semenyo injury. I did the quick napkin math and realized that if he dropped in price, I would have been priced out of the move that I wanted to make. The move that I made, when I make my move, I also had the Mark Gahey injury to worry about. I made my transfers. I moved Mark Gahey and Semenyo out, and in return, I brought in Chris Richards and Brian Bomo. I had just enough fun to do it. I had the 2 transfers banked, so I didn't take a hit. So my squad this week, I am looking at Nick Pope in goal to start. I'm going to go 4-3-3 at the moment. So I've got Reynaldo, Chris Richards, Joe Roden, and Dorgu. I'm going to start Dorgu. I don't know if he'll get the start. He did start against Spurs last week, but we'll see. Going to start Salah, Pedro Neto, who is flagged right now, but going to start him against Burnley, get that fixture, and then start Mbomo against Everton. My front line of Holland, João Pedro, and Voltemade, with my bench being Dubravka, Van de Ven, Josh King, and then Kudus, who is still flagged. So my biggest, if Dorgu doesn't start, then Van de Ven would sub on. If Neto doesn't play, Van de Ven would sub on. I mean, Josh King is I guess I'll probably put Kudus in the Josh King spot just in case. But I don't think Kudus is going to be healthy from what I've heard.
Yeah.
So,
but Neto, I think, is still possible, right?
I think so. And he's got a groin injury, 75%. These 75%ers I usually feel pretty good about, but we'll see. Captaincy wise, I've got the armband on Holland right now. I'm honestly leaning Mbomo.
Yeah.
Kind of.
I didn't mention it, but that's what I was thinking too.
Yeah.
Or
to be very honest, when I had my Voltemade pick a couple weeks ago, I tried to get cute and it didn't work out. I kind of was like, I'll just keep this set it and forget it. But I don't know. That's not that fun. I know. So that's my squad. So captaincy pick a little bit still up in the air, but we'll see. Moving on to Lord Tink. So just for reference, so let's see. Lord Tinkerton has 3 free transfers and 0.8 mil in the bank. So if we remember last week, I believe they recommended no transfer, which is crazy, which I think was 3 weeks in a row. So I am, let's see, I'm going to do this on the fly. So let me just make sure we've got the right prompts. So Sanchez, Dubravka, Richards, Tarkowski, Goodmanson, Pedro Porro, Mukiele, Semenyo, Doku, Sala, Bruno Fernandez, who might be being overlooked, by the way. We don't talk about him enough. Kudus, Evan Nilsson, João Pedro, and Wood. Recommend up to 3 with 0.8 mil in the bank, and then recommend a chip strategy. So let's see what our good friend Jet Jupiter recommends for this week. All right. Here's how I'd lean for game week 12. They would move out Tarkowski or Goodmanson. Well, we need them to. Okay. And they'd say they'd bring in Jurriën Timber. The midfielder, they are saying you could consider bringing in a differential, which, I need you to tell me. It says, if you're willing to activate your wild card this week, consider restructuring. Well, you would have to tell me. It says, okay, my recommendation, make 1 transfer. Bring in Timber for a defender. Save the rest for future. So they are recommending to move. So they're going to go 3-5-2, move out Goodmanson for Timber. So let's see if we can afford that. I don't know if you can. No. So you have to move Tarkowski.
That's fair.
Tarkowski.
They said
out.
older.
Yeah. Tarkowski out for Timber. Oh my God, that works out perfectly. That's crazy. The funds were perfect. And then captaincy. So the bench order, they've actually got Goodmanson in the first slot. That's crazy. They're not starting. Well, I guess they're going to end up having players subbed on because they're starting Semenyo. They're starting Kudus. We know that's not going to happen. Okay, so they're going 3-5-3. So Timber, Porro, and Richards. So they've got Timber, Porro, and Richards. They've got Goodmanson in the first slot. They've got Wood, and then Woods. That's not even going to happen. Let's see. Captain. They're captaining Mo Salah and Bruno Fernandez as vice. So we'll do it. We'll do it. We're going to save. We're going to lock in those lyrics. Okay. So just to reiterate, Sanchez, Chelsea keeper, Pedro Porro, Jurriën Timber, Chris Rich. Game
Good
on.
luck.
No luck. Hope you lose. All right. And I think with that, kind of brings us pretty close to the end. Anything else, Jim? Anything else we didn't cover?
I don't think so. I think it's going to be, like I said, a lot of deadlines in the next month and a half. So I'm excited.
I
This is
just
the
think
big
about
push.
how often I know this is.
And now we have
got the holidays.
$10,000 on the line.
My God, and a sandwich
Or a sandwich.
or a sandwich, kind of the same thing. Yeah, no, this was good. It was nice to see your face, nice to hear your voice. So it was a nice tender baritone, alto. I don't know. You're more of a tenor.
Mama, these pretzels
Speaking,
are making me thirsty.
these pretzels are making me thirsty. But no, in all seriousness, I almost said guys again. In all seriousness, to our listeners, thank you as always if you've made it this far. Please go ahead, like us, follow us, subscribe to us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and YouTube. Drop us a comment with your biggest surprise, with your differential picks, your captaincy picks, your favorite sandwich, what you're thankful for this season for Thanksgiving. Still not too late to join our mini leagues. As always, we will drop our code in the description. And as always, thank you for joining us on Tinker Time. Again, don't forget to like, subscribe, hit that notification bell, and see you guys next game week. Happy tinkering.
Draft dreams rise like morning sun, chasing points, the game's begun. Big decisions week by week, fantasy glory's what we seek. Pick your squad, the clock won't wait. Captain choice will seal your fate. Two enthusiasts breaking it down. Fantasy kings, we're taking the crown.